It's a lovely good evening to all those watching us across Zambia and around the world. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo to present the news. Our top stories tonight: the court proves ECZ wrong for preventing BOWMAN LUSAMBO and Joe Malanji from contesting the by-elections. Proposal to make murder a bondable case opposed. Bus fares reduced following a reduction in fuel pump prices. In international news, Burundi's president appoints a new prime minister after warning of coup plot. At sports news, Zambia national women's team to battle Tanzania in COSAFA semi-finals.
What began as a small vision, today it's become a big vision.
Camnet TV turns 6. As we celebrate this day, we say thank you to our viewers and clients for the support and making sure Camnet TV is your #1 station. A new chapter has started as we give you nothing but the best in our programming and reliable news Camnet TV offers through our dedicated management and staff members.
When God is within us, there is nothing that we cannot do.
Happy 60th anniversary. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello again, another news in detail. Over 7,000 residents of Nakatindi Ward in Chongwe district of Lusaka province are depending on water bowsers as a source of water due to a growing population against a few available boreholes. In an interview, Nakatindi Ward Councillor Akashi Sitali says this has left residents traveling far distances in search of water. Mr. Sitali, however, states that 12 boreholes will be sunk using the 25.7 million Kwacha Constituency Development Fund CDF for 2022 as a response to the crisis. More in this report.
Concerned parties in the water and sanitation sector have been expressing that Zambia is at high risk of missing its target of making clean water as well as sanitation easily accessible to all its citizens by 2030. This arises from various indicators in the country, such as the case of Nakatindi Ward in Chongwe district, where over 7,000 residents are still struggling to access clean water. In an interview, Area Councillor Akashi Sitali says existing boreholes have not been enough to meet the growing population, forcing many residents to walk far distances to access water. Mr. Sitali says the sinking of 12 boreholes in the ward has therefore been earmarked under the 25.7 million Kwacha Constituency Development Fund in 2022.
At the moment, part of the community, especially the army area, they just use the water bounce to deliver water every morning. And then these others, we have a few bores that are in far places. You find that people move a number of kilometers to go and search for water. The population in the past, relying on the past census, we have an update soon, but in the past, we were close to 7,000, over 7,000.
The Nakatindi Ward Councillor asked that as part of addressing the high youth unemployment levels in the ward, a number of youths have been sent to Chiota Skills Training Center to acquire diverse skills. The councillor asked that there is need for these youths to be accorded opportunities to work on various national projects once they complete their training.
What we have done actually, we have even in Nakatindi, we have Nakatindi youth clubs. The youth themselves, they've formed a cooperative. And what we intend to do under CDF, we are trying to promote even local investment, local investors, local companies, even local skills, manpower. We will not allow that we have someone from outside when we have our own that are not turning around. So from these skills that they are doing, when they come back, we'll see. Whenever we're doing construction, we want to engage our local youth so that at least they find something to do. He
has expressed hope that the increased CDA from 1.6 million to 25.7 million Kwacha will help in bridging social and economic inequalities in the country. Zipora Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Road Transport and Safety Agency, RATSA, has reduced bus fares following the drop in fuel pump prices announced by the Energy Regulation Board, ERB, recently. The ERB reduced fuel pump prices by 1 kwacha 65 ngwe per litre for petrol and 1 kwacha 74 ngwe per litre for diesel, effective 1st September 2022. The new bus fares are intercity long distances has been reduced by 2%, while Lusaka local and other towns has reduced by 1 kwacha. The intermine and peri-urban copper belt has reduced by 1 kwacha, and the Lusaka peri-urban by 1 kwacha. RATSA head of public relations Frederick Mwanga says the new bus fares are effective from the 8th of September 2022. He says the fares were arrived at in consultation with the Bus and Taxi Owners Association of Zambia, the Commuter Rights Association of Zambia, and the Public Passenger Transport Drivers Association of Zambia. Traders at Buseko Market in Lusaka's Matero constituency dealing in timber have called on the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to find an alternative trading place for them. This follows a 1-month ultimatum to leave Zeko land where they trade from and was bought by an investor in 2021. Camnet News in November 2021 carried a story of the said traders who come from various places, including Western Province, to sell their timber. The traders say they now have 1 month to vacate the place, calling on the current administration to look into their plight. Meanwhile, Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development Permanent Secretary in charge of administration, Mambo Hamaundu, says the ministry is enhancing the electronic collection of levies to make sure that more funds go into the market fund to pave way for the creation of more markets. More in this report.
Market space has remained a highly topical issue in Zambia, as the country's existing markets have been overwhelmed by the approximated 3.8 million traders in the country, as shown by statistics from the Zambia National Marketers Credit Association, Zanamaka. This is a place known as Zeko Land in Lusaka's Buseko Market of Matero constituency, home to hundreds of people from far-flung areas such as Western Province, who camp here to sell timber and planks. The land they trade from has however been controversial, as they were in 2021 told that the place has been sold to an investor and that they should find an alternative place to go. Pressure has mounted as the traders say they now only have 1 month to stay here, following an ultimatum from the investor for them to vacate the land. In interviews with Camnet News, they have called on the current administration to urgently create alternative places they can trade from.
Manje ndiye mwamene timagulisi, ndiye mwamene timapezera, timatandiziwa, timupunziramo na bana mwamene muno, ndiye mwamene tizipezera kuzitandiza ise. Manje bakagulisa ino market tizaenda kuti tulibe koenda mwandini batimvereko chifundo, please tapapata. Ino market ni kudala petina mbogulisamo, sebe banatiuza tikalibonge na mwatu wafuna ogulisa. Seme sitinangenemo, manje apatamvira tuwafuna ogulisa, manje tizasebenza bwanje, oloko kwe tizaenda kuti.
Ero manje aba bantu bonse abapereka kuti, ero abausa ibala kuti ndiye mavota zewa president watu. Ndiye banapanga mavoti kuti na ba president watu bangale pacha. So tipempa kuti ba president watu Mr. Akande Chilema, His Excellency, kuti ba tufakire konzero pali aba bantu bawo bonse bali muno market. Steve na kuti kukankale musokonezo oli wonse nda ba president vachongo banalesa. Kuno kulibe kadalizimu. Tisebenza chabe bwino, we are operating in a polite manner without any quarrel or chanchan. Steve tifuna chabe kuti tisebenza bwino na abantu ndiye mavoters baba president watu. So tipempa kuti ba president abantu mubalanganirepo.
Meanwhile, in a phone interview, Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development Permanent Secretary in charge of administration Mambo Hamaundu says the ministry is enhancing the collection of levies electronically to make sure that more people are captured so that some of these funds can be channeled to the creation of more markets.
What we are aiming for now as a country is that we should ensure that we have more and more markets or levies being paid electronically. That is the e-levy, because when we accomplish that, a portion of that e-levy will go towards the market fund. And this is money which will be used to build new markets and improve existing markets so that more and more people are accommodated in official markets and people are trading in an environment which is conducive, as opposed to trading in places where there could possibly be no markets and they are squeezed and the places were not designed to operate as markets.
Stakeholders have been suggesting that all new markets that will be constructed should meet international standards to ensure that they accommodate more people. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
A social scientist, Innocent Kolala, has opposed calls by the Human Rights Commission to make all cases, including murder, bondable and bailable in order to avoid prolonged detention of suspects pending trial. According to the Commission, the move is vital towards reducing congestion and avoiding prolonged detentions pending trial. But Mr. Kolala believes the move can equally fuel crime, hence the need to find other means of resolving the problem. As of last month, there were 4,056 remandees in the correctional facilities out of the total of 24,227 persons in correctional facilities, which included 18,391 convicts, 1,056 prohibited immigrants, 635 juveniles, and 88 persons held under the President's pleasure. More in this report.
Non-bailable offences in Zambia include, but not limited to, murder, treason, and any offence carrying a mandatory capital penalty, aggravated robbery, and theft of a motor vehicle. But recently, the Human Rights Commission proposed that all cases must become bondable and bailable. According to the human rights body, the move would help reduce congestion in correctional facilities and avoid prolonged detention of suspects pending trial.
A long-term measure, the Commission proposes to make all cases bailable so that the respective courts of law will make their own discretions to either grant or deny bail based on the merits of each case.
But a social scientist, Innocent Kolala, has opposed the move, saying it may fuel murder cases on account of revenge and impunity,
which the Human Rights Commission and any other advocates should put into consideration. Remember that the life which has been lost, it was one of such which was maybe taking care of the family members. So what do you expect these other family members who have lost, what they are going to do? This person has been bailed, he is not kept in the confined. What do you expect these other family members to do? They are going to rise against this person, and also these are going to commit murder. They are going to kill him. That is one thing. Then secondly, this is the person who says, no, it's okay, I can kill. As long as I'll go into prison, I'm going to be given a bail, I'll come out. What will happen? Is this person going to reform? The answer is no. He will keep on killing as many as he wishes. Because there are other people who normally say, do not play with me, I kill. If you are playing with me, I kill. Meaning people are going to live in a country which is chaos.
He says in as much as the move being proposed by the Human Rights Commission is aimed at espousing rights for remandees, there could be better ways of doing that.
The correction service are there to ensure that those people who are not reforming, they go into this institution to go and reform, so that they go and learn something on how they are supposed to live with the people. And to this effect, we have also said as Zambians, here are the issues which we are talking about, the lives of a human being. And in the very constitution, we are saying life is supposed to start from conception. All human beings are supposed to be protected. No one has a right to take life for another human being. And to such a person who takes life for that human being, he is supposed also to ensure that he is also disciplined in line with what is provided for in the law.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Former Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Agriculture has testified before the Economic Financial Crimes Court that Opposition Patriotic Front Acting President Given Lubinda signed a memorandum of understanding with a Chinese firm when he was a minister in the ministry, but the same was never implemented. Testifying in a case in which Mr. Lubinda is facing corruption charges, Julius Shawa, however, has disclosed that in a government ministry, the Permanent Secretary was the one who was supposed to sign an MOU on behalf of government because he was the Chief Executive Officer of the ministry. Meanwhile, the witness has confirmed before court that Mr. Lubinda and his wife signed a contract to purchase a property in Kingsland City. The property is subject to the matter before the court. More in this report.
Trial in the alleged corruption case that Opposition Patriotic Front acting president Given Lubinda is facing before the Lusaka Subordinate Court has continued. Wednesday morning, a former Minister of Agriculture Permanent Secretary, Julius Shawa, gave his testimony before the Economic Financial Crimes Court against Mr. Lubinda. The witness in his testimony has narrated that the accused, Mr. Lubinda, signed a memorandum of understanding with the Chinese firm when he was a minister in the ministry, but the same was never implemented. The witness has also testified that the accused and his wife signed a contract to purchase a property in Kingsland City, the property which is subject of the matter before court. In this case, Mr. Lubinda is facing 4 counts of possession of property reasonably suspected of being proceeds of crime. Allegations are that the accused on the 3rd of March 2018 received $50,000 United States dollars from China African Cotton Limited, the property believed of being proceeds of crime. In the second count, he is alleged to have, on the 2nd of February 2019, received $100,000 United States dollars Runchan Cotton Industrial Company Limited, property also believed of being proceeds of crime. In the third count, Mr. Lubinda is alleged to have received $80,000 United States dollars from the same Cotton Industrial Company Limited, believed of being corruptly gained, while in the fourth count, the accused is said to have disposed a sum of $50,000 United States dollars to Sunshine Investment as part of payment toward the purchase of a property situated in Kingsland City. Another witness, Shi Hao Ji, a sales manager at Kingsland City, has told the court that Mr. Lubinda and his wife signed a contract for the purchase of a property in Kingsland City. Mr. Shi has testified that the couple signed a contract for a purchase of the property in February 2018, and the total value for the same was valued at $260,000 United States dollars. He has testified that Mr. Lubinda, on the 7th of February 2018, paid 5,000 kwacha as registration fee for the said property. The court has adjourned the case to the 5th of October 2022 for continued trial. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Constitutional Court has ruled that the Electoral Commission of Zambia was wrong to state that former Kabushi Member of Parliament BOWMAN LUSAMBO and his counterpart, former Kwacha Member of Parliament Joseph Malanji, were ineligible to recontest following the nullification of their elections as they caused a vacancy. In a majority judgment delivered Wednesday afternoon, the court states that, contrary to a statement issued by ECZ, a nullification is not a disqualification. This was in a matter the two argued before court that a decision by the ECZ to bar them from filing their nomination papers on the 25th of August 2022 was illegal and unconstitutional. More in this report.
The nullification of an election does not amount to the disqualification of a candidate. The Constitutional Court Wednesday morning ruled when it delivered its judgment in a matter where former Kabushi Member of Parliament BOWMAN LUSAMBO and former Kwacha Member of Parliament Joseph Malanji were challenging the decision by the Electoral Commission of Zambia to disqualify their nomination to recontest the two respective constituencies. In a majority judgment, the court has ruled that the two are eligible to recontest Kabushi and Kwacha parliamentary by-elections scheduled for the 15th of September 2022. On the 25th of August 2022, ECZ rejected the nomination papers for Mr. LUSAMBO and Malanji on the basis that they do not qualify to contest the election that were nullified by the Constitutional Court, citing Article 72(4) of the Constitution of Zambia Amended Act No. 2 of 2016. And speaking to the media shortly after the court judgment, their lawyer Makebi Zulu gave his comment on the outcome.
We knew very well that our clients were on firm ground even when they went to file their nominations. We knew they were on firm ground. However, following on that decision, the returning officers decided to mislead themselves and take a wrong position to be the right position. Now we have been vindicated that someone is controlling ECZ and giving them wrong opinions as to what the law is. But today, the Constitutional Court has settled that matter with finality. And BOWMAN Chilosha Lusambo and Joseph Malanji will be back on the ballot. We will fight to the hilt until they appear on the ballot because the court has made it abundantly clear.
An opposition Patriotic Front acting president Given Luwinda says it's now time for the party to go on the ground and retain the 2 seats.
The opportunity, instead of them campaigning, we saw the vice president talking to 5 people and going to kneel down before pastors, going to go and expose how this government cannot even attend to sewer lines. She was doing that to campaign at the disadvantage of Malanji and the disadvantage of Lusambo. We therefore demand that the ECZ today notifies the country that they have postponed the holding of elections in Kabushi and in Kwacha so that they give the 2 candidates sufficient time to go and canvass for votes.
Meanwhile, Mr. Given Luwinda has called on ECZ to ensure that the 2 are back on the ballot papers.
Today, the law has been clarified that a nullification of a seat does not amount to a disqualification of a candidate. This is history, and I'd like to thank the ECZ for coming to court today and listening to this judgment. What we do now is to call upon the ECZ to do what the Constitutional Court has directed, to make sure that they put BOWMAN, Chilosha, Lusambo and Malanji back on the ballot papers for Kabushi and Kwacha constituencies respectively.
At the end of it all, it was all joy for Mr. Malanji, who could not help but celebrate after hearing the court's ruling.
Congratulations.
Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Civil Society Debt Alliance has wondered why the government could not publish the conditionalities of the International Monetary Fund bailout package before committing to the package. CSO Debt Alliance chairperson Father Alex Muyebe says doing so would have allowed the private sector to scrutinize the conditions attached to the IMF deal and advise government accordingly to ensure that the package does not affect social sector spending. Father Muyebe has since implored the government to expedite the process of passing the Access to Information Bill to allow for easy access of information on how the package is being utilized. Meanwhile, Oxfam Country Representative Yvonne Chibuye says the conditionalities need to be well understood to ensure that it protects the most vulnerable people in the community. More in this report.
The Civil Society Debt Alliance has welcomed the approval of the $1.3 billion Extended Credit Facility International Monetary Fund IMF program for Zambia and is confident that the program stands to restore debt sustainability in the country while fostering higher and inclusive growth. The alliance, who briefed the media in Lusaka Wednesday, have however wondered why the government has only published the conditionalities after signing the package instead of having done so before committing to the agreement to give enough time to stakeholders to read and criticize some of the conditionalities.
Proactive engagements are important. This has lacked in the build-up to have. It's a good thing that we have a program, but it's a bad thing that there was no proactive engagement, because at this time I think it would have been better if all of us had a full understanding, a full appreciation of what we have committed to and what we expect. But now is when we've seen the full report from the International Monetary Fund. This is when we sit to digest those conditionalities to ensure that we fully understand how they fit into the forward and backward linkages in the economy.
Meanwhile, Alliance Chairperson Father Alex Muyebe has since appealed to the government to expedite the process of passing the Access to Information Bill early into the program to allow for easy access of information, and has urged the Zambian government to continue embracing an open-door policy of engagement with other stakeholders that are beyond government bodies.
To ensure social accountability from the public, there will be a need to repackage the details of the program in a language and way that can be easily understood by most of our citizens. There will be need for increased efforts on promoting access to information on the utilization of these resources over the next 3 years. This will be made easier if government expedites the process of passing the Access to Information Bill early in the program.
Meanwhile, Oxfam Country Representative Yvonne Chibuye says stakeholders need to read and understand the published conditionalities to ensure that social sector spending is protected.
And so, yes, whilst we may have social protection programs, we have the social cash transfer program, I think we need to see things that are more responsive and they reflect more in the improved livelihoods of those vulnerable groups that we are concerned about. What we would like to see is an actualization of these reforms of the IMF to see that surely we will protect the social sector spending, and especially spending that cushions the effects of shocks on the poor.
With the conditionalities of the IMF having been published, Zambia's Republican President Hakainde Hichilema has already implored the Zambian citizens to ensure that they make criticisms on an informed perspective. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Center for Trade Policy and Development, CTPD, has employed investigative agencies in the country to act on the Auditor General's report and ensure that those involved in the mismanagement of national resources are dealt with accordingly. CTPD Executive Director Isaac Mwaipopo underscored the need to ensure that the mismanaged resources are recovered from the ghost workers as well as those illegally employed. Mr. Mwaipopo says it is disappointing to learn that resources were being plundered while hospitals have been lacking medicines. He says the government should ensure that it closes all loopholes that have been used in mismanaging the resources to ensure that such mismanagement does not occur again.
We remain greatly concerned that we have continued to see loopholes that are leading to loss of resources that would have otherwise gone to other more needy areas. Our appeal to the relevant authorities, be it the Drug Enforcement Commission, the Zambia Police, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is that they should work hand in hand, especially through the joint investigations team that was constituted to fight graft, to try and trace and identify these people so that ultimately we can try and see what we can recover from the resources that have actually been lost. This country has been grappling with a number of development challenges, part of which includes serious challenges to finance critical sectors such as the health sector. We can't afford to have a situation where we have pensioners that have already been paid, being indicated that some are equally still receiving payments. That's an abnormality that needs to be corrected so that we can ensure that the resources that are realized are channeled to the right places.
Following revelations of financial irregularities in the Auditor General's report, government has underscored commitment to close financial leakages in public institutions. Government payroll for the years ended December 31, 2017 to 2021 has revealed accounting-related irregularities in amounts totaling over 2 billion kwacha. And the report has revealed that 19 ministries paid salaries in amounts totaling over 707 million kwacha to 9,800 unaccounted for officers, adding that as at July 31, 2022, the institutions had not accounted for the officers because they were not known. And Ministry of Information and Media Director spokesperson Tabo Kabwana says such irregularities would not be condoned under the United Party for National Development administration. He says President Hakainde Hichilema's administration is keen to stir transparency and accountability.
A question of wastage, but it's outright theft. So you see that law enforcement agencies have taken particular interest. Just today, the Anti-Corruption Commission has also stated that they have taken note of the Auditor General's revelations with keen interest, and they're following up the matter. So what is important to state and note is that under this administration, such things will be stories of the past. And we will make sure that we run a transparent administration and also ensure that such things do not occur by making sure that HR aspects such as head counts
and audits from time to time are carried out to ensure that people are paid for where they are working and the stations they are working for. All those that are not in their stations ought to be careful, because as the head count goes on, you may actually be removed from the payroll if you are not in your designated station, but you are on the payroll.
Thank you for staying with us. This is Camnet Television News. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
The Zambia Statistics Agency will this year conduct the 2021 census across the country. The census aims to count people in households, rural and urban, hospitals, military, police and correctional facilities. This numbering will extend to hotels, farms, as well as high-density areas with different families sharing a house and those in transitory locations. Every person in the country matters and should be counted, because the census will benefit all, from migrants, refugees and street children, homeless people, the young and the old people, as well as persons with disabilities. Everyone counts. This message is brought to you by the Zambia Statistics Agency.
What began as a small vision, today it's become a big vision.
Camnet TV 10/6. As we celebrate this day, we say thank you to our viewers and clients for the support and making sure Camnet TV is your #1 station. A new chapter has started as we give you nothing but the best in our programming and reliable news Camnet TV offers through our dedicated management and staff members.
When God is within us, there is nothing that we cannot do.
Happy 60th anniversary. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Information and Media Minister Chushi Kasanda says the enactment of the Zambia Institute of Public Relations and Communication Bill by the President into law will help enhance transparency and accountability in the manner public institutions operate. In a speech read on her behalf by Permanent Secretary Kennedy Kalunga during the second Zambia Institute of Public Relations and Communications Chief Executive Officers Forum in Lusaka, Ms. Kasanda says government is confident that the assented ZIPRC bill will enhance information dissemination and decision-making at various levels of governance. She has reaffirmed government's commitment in creating a favorable environment for the public relations and communications sector to flourish. And ZIPRC President Irene Chipili says the PR industry in Zambia has gained a significant milestone following the enactment of the Zambia Institute of Public Relations and Communications Act No. 11 of 2022. Meanwhile, African Public Relations Association President Yomi Badejo Okusanya says Zambia has remarkably improved and given hope to other African countries.
I reaffirm government's commitment to the enactment of the Institute of Public Relations and Communication Bill. This is in recognition of the important role the PR is fostering national development. As I understand here today, I am proud to state that true to the government's commitment that the ZIPRA bill is now law, President Hakainde Hichilema assented to the bill on August 9 of 2022.
I wish to appeal to all PR and communication practitioners
to acquaint themselves with the provisions of the law, and we'll be taking a number of measures, including the PR clinic we are holding tomorrow, to help our members appreciate and understand the provisions of the law. ZIPRAC will therefore offer an opportunity to its members to enhance their PR skills and practice. This is key to making us more responsive to the demands of PR in today's dynamic society.
This country, at least from what I've seen, has remarkably improved. You are a beacon of light for Africa, and I think that even your story should be better told, because when you do that, other countries in Africa will have hope. Africa is not just about strife, it's not about war, it's not about farming, it's not about rebellion. The new Africa we're talking about is about
United Party for National Development losing parliamentary candidate for the 2021 general elections, Brian Walia, has demonstrated foresight to better the country and uplift the livelihoods of citizens. Addressing the media Wednesday, Mr. Walia has cited the introduction of free education, increased constituency development fund, and general upholding of the rule of law. He says government, through the investigative wings, has shown commitment towards the fight against corruption within the confines of the law. He says all those who claim to be politically persecuted in government's quest to fight corruption are not being sincere.
As respect the human rights. You know, let me just say on the human rights, it doesn't mean when people are being questioned, they're being questioned as where somebody got the money. It's an abuse of human rights. People just to say where they got the money, and that's not, there's no cry foul that they're being abused. If somebody has stolen, let them be questioned. And because of this massive recruitment of the civil servants, or the teachers and health workers and more to come, we appeal to our chiefs, or our chief Paramount, Chief Mkulu, Chief Makasa, and the other sub-chiefs to go into negotiation with our village admin and women. As you are aware, this is the only government which has talked about we are talking about means of local government and rural development. So for our constituency to benefit from the rural development which our government has set, I think there's a need of our chief to get organized.
The Secondary School Teachers Union of Zambia, SESTUZ, says expectations for the education sector to improve significantly are high following the reporting of newly recruited teachers in various schools across the country for Term 3, which opened on Monday, the 5th of September 2022. In an interview, SESTUZ General Secretary Sitibekiso Wambuyuwa notes that the education sector has been highly overwhelmed with issues such as a high teacher-pupil ratio following the enhancement of free education under the current administration. He has also urged those posted to rural areas to work hard regardless of the various challenges and not to seek transfers, stating that all pupils across the country deserve an equal chance at quality education. He hopes that the new human resource will help in driving the country towards the agenda of quality education.
So a lot is expected in terms of work. Everybody needs to put in their best. This is the examination term. And it's not only for the teachers, mind you. Everybody, administrators, need to play their role to ensure that the environment, everything is in place so that the pupils can have a safe, good environment. Parents and guardians need to make sure that their children are well prepared, they are supported in order for them to learn properly. So it is a moment when everyone needs to come on board and play their role. You cannot leave this thing to one sector, to one group of people, and expect the best to come out of it. So everyone needs to come out on board and participate, play their role, so that come 2023, when we talk about national examinations, we can talk about positive improvements in terms of performance, in terms of results, and that is our desire. Yes, we know the new teachers have come on board, like you have said, 8,496, and we are glad that more than 17,000 last month were already put on payroll, and the remainder are being put on payroll this month. This is something that is motivating, that is very, very encouraging.
A humanitarian organization has appealed to the Ministry of Education to engage curriculum development consultants to realign the school curriculum. Care for Orphans and Widows Secretary General Hilary Mtango says the current curriculum being used in schools was formulated before independence, and what used to work in the past is no longer currently applicable. Mr. Mtango says what the country needs is talent-based training and not imposing a lot of subjects on pupils which they do not even require in their career. He says there is no need to have universities and colleges continue to train students who later cannot get employed because their field of studies are no longer viable.
Unemployment in the country has gone up as far as 80%, meaning that out of the 17 million people in the country, only 20% are in formal employment, 80% are not in employment. So it means that the universities, and especially the universities and the schools, they have lost the test of time, because what is the use of a university training job seekers when the country can't employ? It simply means we do not have a university in the country, because a university must be innovative. There is no employment. Why employ job seekers? You need to change the framework. Instead of employing job seekers, train entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs who are going to create jobs. Okay, so going forward, as we're saying, if Minister of Education cannot engage the curriculum development consultant, then they should partner with organizations like COUP Zambia.
This is Camnet Television News. We take our second and final break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
It's census time. The 2022 Census of Population and Housing will be conducted from 18th August to 14th September 2022. The census collects a lot of data for use in various aspects of social and economic planning for the country. We are all required to participate in the census by being counted. You will be counted from your usual dwelling place by a census enumerator. Please receive and cooperate with the census enumerator and provide the required information when you will be visited. Your responses to the census questions will be treated with strict confidentiality and will be used for statistical purposes only.
Hi, I'm coming to count you.
Because everyone counts. This message is brought to you by the Zambia Statistics Agency with support from the UNFPA.
What began as a small vision, today it's become a big vision.
Camnet TV 10/6. As we celebrate this day, we say thank you to our viewers and clients for the support and making sure Camnet TV is your #1 station. A new chapter has started as we give you nothing but the best in our programming and reliable news Camnet TV offers through our dedicated management and staff members.
When God is within us, there's nothing that we cannot do.
Happy 60th anniversary. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
And now in international news, in Burundi, General Gervais Ndirakobucha was unanimously confirmed in his new position of Prime Minister by Burundian lawmakers Wednesday. The 113 MPs approved the proposal of the President Evariste Ndayishimiye, who appointed Ndirakobucha to replace Alain Guillaume Bunyoni. For more in international news, here's a roundup.
Burundi officially has a new prime minister. Gervais Ndirakobucha was unanimously confirmed in his new position by Burundian lawmakers Wednesday. The 113 MPs approved the proposal of President Evariste Ndayishimiye, who appointed Ndirakobucha to replace Alain Guillaume Bunyoni, seen here. Bunyoni's replacement comes days after the president warned of a coup plot against him without ever naming suspects. Since 2020, Gervais Ndirakobucha headed the Ministry of the Interior, Community Development and Public Security. The 52-year-old was hit in 2015 by U.S. sanctions for allegedly silencing those opposed to former President Pierre Nkurunziza's third-term bid. Ndirakobucha is one of the former rebellion prominent generals who now lead the Eastern African nation. The ruling CNDD-FDD party vowed to boost the country's development when President Ndayishimiye was elected in 2020.
Togo's parliament has extended for 6 months the state of emergency in the Savannah region in the far north of the country, which has been plagued by incursions by jihadist groups. While jihadist groups operating in the Sahel appear to be gradually moving towards the West African coast, northern Togo has suffered at least 5 attacks since November 2021. Declared in June by the Togolese president, Faure Gnassingbé, the state of emergency was unanimously extended Tuesday until March 2023 by the National Assembly meeting in Kara, north of Lomé. The Savannah region borders Burkina Faso, where jihadist groups are present. The deadliest attack in Togo took place in July. Armed men targeted 4 villages and the army reported several dead and some wounded, but did not give a precise death toll. Donning their festive dress with their hair intricately braided and eyes lined with the traditional kohl paint, thousands of Ethiopian women gathered in Sudan's capital, Khartoum, late last month for the annual Ashenda celebration. But the normally joyful week-long Ethiopian holiday was overshadowed by the ongoing war that has ravaged Tigray. Celebrations have been different this year and the year before because of the ongoing war in Tigray. Usually the celebrations are beautiful, but we are not fully able to be happy due to the massacres happening in Tigray. Many women have been raped, around 20,000, and we are sad because of this. Because they are unable to take part in these celebrations. As part of the festival.
Let's have some sports news now. The Zambia women's national team will play Tanzania in the 2022 Hollywood-based COSAFA Women's Championship semi-final at Isaac Wolfson Stadium on Friday, 9 September 2022. Kickoff will be at 12 hours and the repeat of the 2021 semi-final fixture will be live on SuperSport Go TV and will be streamed live on COSAFA TV and FIFA Plus. In last year's encounter, Zambia lost 3-2 to Tanzania on post-match penalties after a 1-1 draw in a tightly contested fixture. The semi-final was confirmed at the conclusion of Group C fixtures when guest nation and defending champions Tanzania beat Malawi 3-1 to finish top of the pool with 7 points. Hosts South Africa will take on the third best placed finishers Namibia in the other semi-final on the 9th of September at 15:30 hours. Both the third, fourth classification match and the semi-final will be held on Sunday, the 11th of September at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium at 12 hours and 15:30 hours respectively. To end Camnet television news, we'll take a look at stories making headlines once again. The court proves ECZ wrong for preventing BOWMAN LUSAMBO and Joseph Malanji from contesting the by-elections. Proposal to make murder a bondable case opposed. Bus fares reduced following a reduction in fuel pump prices. In international news, Burundi's president appoints new prime minister after warning of coup plot. And in sports news, Zambia national women's soccer team to battle Tanzania in COSAFA semi-final. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day, which is coming from Psalms 123, verse 2. Behold, as the eyes of servants look to the hand of their masters, as the eyes of a maid to the hand of her mistress, so our eyes look to the Lord our God until he has mercy on us. Thank you once again for watching Camnet Television News. I'm Jeffrey ZAMBIA. Bye-bye.